It is Wednesday evening, and that means it's time for another Auburn Family Night. This is the show, the live stream, where we talk about what you want to discuss, anything related to the orange and blue. This is all about your comments, your questions, your topics, and of course, your calls. Let's get into it right now. War Eagle Auburn family and War Eagle E2C Network family, thank you so much for joining us, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, spending some time, and being a part of our little family within the Auburn family. As is always the case here, we would encourage you to start off the show by smashing that like button. It is a humongous help in helping people finding us, first of all, but also for getting the show off on a good note. We'd also love for you to check in with us, post where you're watching from, your city, your state. If you're international, you can do that as well. All of those things are helpful in terms of getting this show spread out to the masses and growing our little family within the Auburn family. So do those things for us, and we're going to have a great show tonight. On tonight's live stream, it's Auburn Family Night. We just get to, kind of sit back and talk about what you want to discuss. We're going to talk about a variety of things. I'll go ahead and set the table for you in just a little bit. We would eventually love to say hello to a bunch of you that are starting to check in. So we'll do that as you guys start to pile in here. I see you now. But some of the topics that we can hit tonight, obviously, there's some shenanigans that the Alabama fans are not happy about in terms of what has transpired for them over the last week, less than a week, especially today with Auburn taking one from them, literally taking one from them. So that's big news. Auburn finished out its offensive side of the ball today in terms of coaching staff, speculation on who will finish out the defensive side of the staff as well. Basketball this evening. We're going to talk about that too later because we got a live stream coming up for that tonight that you don't want to miss either, a late night stream. Aubie won a national title. Women's basketball had a record-setting and big upset win over the LSU defending champions. Listen, you can have your pick of the topics tonight. It literally is 1,000 different things, 1,000 different ways that we could take this tonight. You pick it. You get to pick the discussion points this evening. So what we'd love to do is open up the phone lines for anybody that would like to call in. Always brought to you by our friends at All Things Auburn. allthingsauburn.net. Visit them there. Miss Tanya is one of the best Auburn people I know. If you're looking to stay somewhere in Auburn, check them out. They are operating out of the Auburn Game Day Center, which is just behind Mama Goldberg. So right next to where you want to be for downtown, for all the athletic facilities, all those things. Check them out. They bring you our phone line every single week. So it is open. Get lined up. Get ready. Let's talk about this thing, folks. I am excited to talk about a variety of things, and I will just take this 1,000 different ways because this is my favorite show of the week. We got a lot of fine people checking in with us. We got Rise Live. We got Bubba, WT, Corey, all these fine folks that we have seen before, some that we're getting to know a little bit better. Brian, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Rise Life wants a score prediction, so if you would all like to do that right now, you are more than welcome to. He says 80-68. They do apparently commit a lot of fouls. So the way that Auburn basketball has been shooting the free throws, knock on wood, of late, and if that holds true with them committing a lot of fouls, that should work in our favor to get up above that double-digit win margin that we have held as of late. So I'm going to predict right now that we will get to a double-digit margin, but it will be like deceptively one of those because it'll be because we get free throws at the end or something like that. Big Sip, good to see you here. Jeff on Facebook says 81-69. So if you guys have any other score predictions, go ahead and drop them in now. If y'all haven't, make sure y'all smash that like button. I know it's silly for me to, you get tired of content creators asking to do that, but it is a humongous help. If you can, smash the like button if you have not done. Doesn't matter where you're watching, YouTube. We're actually live on Instagram too, as far as I can tell. And I'm trying to monitor that one too for questions and comments. Jay says he's watching from Baltimore, Maryland. They don't necessarily come all the way over the comments over here, so I'll try to check in on those over there. But we're going to try broadcasting there this evening. All right. Corey asks, how many spots do we have left to fill? Now, are you asking about coaches? Are you asking about players? Give me some clarification, Corey, and then we'll talk about it. Which one are you discussing right now? Do you think we're going after Proctor from Bama? Don't know. And I'm going to say this, and I talk about this a lot because we do daily lunchtime live streams on TikTok where they can be like 5 minutes, 30 minutes, usually longer, usually longer than 5 minutes. I get asked these questions a lot, and it's going to be my same answer when you ask me about Ryan Williams or the latest transfer report that everybody is salivating over. I don't know, and I don't care. Sounds bad, I know, but it really is. We obsess way too much about these guys. When they sign on and commit, that's when I get excited and invest in them. Until then, there's no point in fretting about it. It'd be nice. He looks like a big size lineman, and that'd be cool to have him. But it's very rare for Auburn to get Alabama players or vice versa. So the fact that it just happened again for the first time is what we probably need to be focusing on in just that one. But I know we all worry about the offensive line and need to get those in when we can. Charles Kelly already getting us players. So what you're referencing here, most likely Unbeaten Lake, is the fact that the newest one, Antonio, is it Kite or Antonio Kiete? I haven't learned how to pronounce his name. And so many times these days, these athletes will get like offended and put out a disclaimer of how you're supposed to pronounce their name. So I'm guessing it's Antonio Kite. I had fun with it on social media. Let's go fly a kite. Anybody know that song? So many things I've thought about doing on reels and stuff in relation to that. But Charles Kelly, our new co-DC, one of our defensive back coach, seemingly has a relationship with him when he was formerly at Bama. So that obviously helped in that regard. Big Simp is hype about the Nix hire. Derek Nix, our new offensive coordinator. You can talk about it through many different avenues, many different ways. I'm sure some will say this is only a proxy hire, meaning it is a title alone. Hugh Freeze will be calling the plays. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. Maybe to start off with. What do you guys think? I think Hugh wants to have as much control as possible after last year. But he probably is willing to take a little bit of the burden off of him if it's warranted. Kite is the second person that spent 1 year at Bama and came to Auburn behind my man, Corey Grant. Now, are you sure that he was 1 year at Bama? Let's look up. You could be right. You could be right. I want to check. See Antonio Coleman, not that one. Antonio Kite, Alabama. Let's see if they pulled him from they still have him on there. Stats wise, he played in 2 games in 2022 and then obviously played in 2023. Now, that would mean that he was there for 2 years. I know we're basically splitting hairs at this point, but it is fun to watch him. And then maybe, thinking back to Corey Grant, tail lights as he was called, switching over to Bama. Maybe we'll see a trend of those things this year. 86, Vandy 62. I want you all to know, too, that I have behaved myself this week and ranked, or not ranted, I should say, that much about the monstrosity that is that Vanderbilt basketball arena. We'll talk about it tonight on the stream in more detail, I'm sure, because I'm going to be upset having to watch it there this evening. Brian says, I think it's Kite. Well, that doesn't help me at all because that's how he spelled it. I'm assuming you mean kite like you go fly a kite, which is what we're all kind of assuming at this point. Let's see here. Do you foresee offense looking any different next year or just more streamlined? Well, wouldn't that look differently? Yes, I expect the offense to look differently in whatever regard that is. I don't know that there was a true identity, a true vision. Well, I think there was a plan and a vision, and I don't think it worked out necessarily how all parties involved envisioned it. And hopefully more streamlined, more checks and balances from Hugh himself will make this look a little bit better next year. All right, we're starting to get some phone calls in. We'll start taking some here in just a second. So if you want to call into the show, make sure you go ahead and hit that link up at the top of the chat. It's over here, Kyle, this way. And you can be on camera, like if you want to be, show your face and talk to me, or you can just be off camera. It's not a big deal either way. We'd love to just hear your voice and hear some of your perspective this evening. Don't be shy. Some of you regulars that have been here, I need to hear some voices at least. Come on. So y'all call in tonight if you can. We've got some people lined up already. Bama fans crying about the transfer portal is funny. We have all enjoyed it. I have had some Bama fans claim they were going to call in tonight. As I told them when they made that claim, I highly doubt they will follow through with it. It has not happened yet. We shall see. But anyone that comes on here and wants to start making excuses is going to get one of these. So I came prepared tonight. I was referring to how many more players can we get for 2024. I haven't looked at those numbers. I'm sure some of the other media guys out there are going to have those breakdowns for you. And I hate sending anywhere elsewhere, but always check guys like On3 and stuff like that. They're going to have scholarship breakdowns and things like that. I would imagine there's still some spaces available if we're going after some people like it seems to be. Vandy has some voodoo on that court. I agree. They got more than voodoo on that court. It's just absolutely awful. James checking in from Bluntsville, Alabama. Freeze, getting it done in the middle of a freeze morning too. Big Simp says, Kyle, I was most proud of you for taking that pic in front of Nick's statue and showing your Auburn shirt. How the heck you didn't immediately get you 10,000 followers? Something is wrong. Loved it. Well, it's interesting. We got a lot of coverage from that. I will say it accomplished exactly what we hoped it would, but we got more than I thought pushback from Auburn fans. We got we're gonna get the trees pulled down again, and yeah, I mean, sure, I expected those, but some real, I'm just gonna be honest, uppity Auburn fans just got their feathers ruffled by it. It's like, this is classless. You mean opening up a jacket? That's classless. Some people just have to wave their little holier than thou flags and stuff like that. But we were just having fun with it. That's all it was. Our phrase on the show this past week was lighten up Francis. And that's what we tried to do. All right. I think we are ready to take our first call tonight. You can keep your comments and questions, and you can direct any comments and questions to our viewer or our call-in people if you'd like. But let's go ahead and get him in here. He's one of our captains of optimism. You know him, you love him. Mr. Kevin, what's going on, sir?
We'll be number one next year.
We will be number one next year. Why do you say that, Kevin?
Because I think Walker White will be the starting quarterback, not Peyton Thorne.
Well, he has a shot at it, but Peyton's a starter until proven otherwise, and we all need to support him, regardless of what your preference may be. But Walker White's got a shot. Hank Brown's got a shot. Holden's got a shot.
Robbie transferred to South Carolina.
I saw that. How do you feel about that, Kevin?
I'm mad at him.
You're mad at Well, I think he probably is all right with his decision because he seemingly wants to play quarterback. Now, I'm assuming he went there to play quarterback. I don't know. But, he came to Auburn to play quarterback too. And that, it went okay here. It wouldn't go great for him. We'll see how that works out for him.
Score some touchdowns.
Oh, hey, listen, in his certain skill set within being a quarterback, he did very well, but he did have a few struggles here and there, which is understandable. Most of our quarterbacks struggled for reasons outside of themselves, but I'm wishing him well, hoping he has success that doesn't affect Auburn. How about that?
I hope he have a success throwing the football.
I hope he does too. He wants to be a quarterback, it seems like, and so he definitely needs to improve in that area. And I hope he finds what he's looking for over there with the Gamecocks.
What
you got?
just Quiz Hunter staying.
He did announce that. How excited are you about that?
Pumped up.
I can tell. Give me like a pumped up, like with your fist. Like there we go, there we go, there we go.
I'm at my sister's right now in Birmingham.
You are? How's the weather over there? Is it safe to move out and about right now with all the the freeze warnings that happen?
Don't know.
You don't know? I've got family in Birmingham, and they had a little bit of ice. And you know what's more interesting is the basketball team that's up in Nashville. Right, they're getting ready to play in a few minutes. Well, several minutes here, but I would imagine that got a little bit treacherous for them heading up there to Nashville tonight with all the weather we had.
We should beat them real good.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely in Auburn's favor the way they're playing versus the way Vanderbilt's playing. The problem is we got to go play at that awful, and I do mean awful, arena. Have you seen that arena?
Yeah.
It's terrible. It makes no sense. It absolutely disgusts me. And now you're going to get me on a rant about the arena.
And how about the Auburn women's basketball team beat LSU?
Yeah, wasn't that cool? Wasn't that cool to see that?
Yeah,
that was really neat. You know,
and
Coach Johnny Harris deserves some moments like that. So I'm happy she got it.
I think they will beat Vanderbilt too.
Oh yeah. So if you're in Nashville, let me just say this. Let me open your eyes up to all the Nashville people. If you are not, following Auburn and Nashville, you need to be, because there's the game tonight. Women's there tomorrow. There's a track and field meet at the Vanderbilt Invitational on Friday. So if you're an Auburn fan, there's plenty of things to do in Nashville.
Hey, did we get some more commitments? Or
we just got a Bama player. Antonio Kite decided to come to Auburn.
Antonio Kite's coming to Auburn.
He is. You must have missed the big news, bud. Look, he got the reaction live from it. So there you go. I'm happy we could give you the good news tonight, Kevin.
And I hope we get Ryan Williams too.
I hope so too, buddy. We'll keep checking in with you, and maybe one day we'll get your wish. But hey, thanks.
Hey, I'll see you next Wednesday.
All right. Thanks for calling in, Kevin.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. All right. That was Kevin. You guys can call in too. We'd love for you to check in with us and just talk about what's on your mind, Auburn related. Still waiting for those Bama fans that, were, I'd say barking, but trumpeting very loudly on other live streams and social media interactions that, talked a big game, but they haven't showed up yet. We'll see if they do. Let's see here. Remember when we played Vandy in 2022 and a random player named Saban Lee went off on us, almost beat us single-handedly? I try to forget things like that because that sounds horrible given that name. Nate Oates fan guy on Twitter is always getting mad. So let me talk to y'all a little bit about this Nate Oates thing. First of all, anything. Rise Life, you got to call. Come on. There's nothing scary about it. Just how about it? Just come in, tell me your quick thoughts about the basketball game tonight, and then get out. Just give it a try. Come on, no pressure. I actually am pressuring you, but no pressure at the same time. So with this Nate Oates situation, let me just set the table a little bit here. I love whenever we can have an opportunity to rag on Alabama coaches, Alabama fans, all the stuff. It's just like vice versa to us. I mean, it's a rivalry after all. But I'm going to depart from the narrative a little bit on this beating up on Nate Oates thing for that situation. I've watched that clip several times, and I've tried to get the context around it. Frankly, I'm okay with him pushing a player away that is threatening his players. Now, could you say that the push went on a little bit longer than possible and you should avoid contact as much as possible? Yes, absolutely. I agree with you in that sense. But I also think some of the reaction is a little overblown. Did I burst everybody's bubbles here? I'm sorry if I did. It's my personal opinion. I think it's frankly a little bit out there in terms of how much we should or shouldn't be getting all amped about that. I did lose the stream for a little bit on Instagram, but I think we got it back now. So if you guys are watching on Instagram, let me know. Let me know that y'all are still there, because I want to make sure that that is working tonight. We're giving it a try tonight. I hate to say it, but I'm so glad we are not playing him right now. Playing who right now? Oh, the Scottie Pippen Jr. I know one guy I do remember, Scottie Pippen Jr. That's the context I was missing there. Yeah. Is he gone now? Like I don't keep track of Vanderbilt basketball outside of when we play them. But what I do know about this is they have a terrible arena, awful arena, but also historically we've had a lot of problems with them. I think the press release for today's game from the athletic department was they are, in fact, I could just pull it up. Let me give you guys some stats to talk about on here. Let's see here. I'm going to try to find it. Where did it go on my to-do list page? There it is. Our record versus Vanderbilt is series history 90-56. All-time series with Auburn. Vanderbilt holds quite a substantial lead there. So historically, we have had not a lot of great success over Vanderbilt, and even most of that within the walls of Memorial Coliseum. Thomas Manville, what are you doing? Why do you continue to be generous? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you with the super chat. And I don't know what else to say other than appreciate you, sir. How does everyone feel about Derek Nix's hire and the Ken Austin promotion to the quarterback's coach? All right, you guys, let's hear some opinions about that. Thomas has been gracious enough with that super chat, so let's discuss that for a little bit. I think the Derek Nix hire checks a lot of boxes. I think it makes a lot of sense. The big question is this the right hire for right now in this moment? We won't really know that until we're talking about this again in a year's time with some results to talk about. And even then, I would beg Auburn and Hugh Freeze to try to retain some continuity on this staff as much as possible, at least at the coordinator position, for more than a season. This team, this program needs continuity. And I'm hoping getting his quote unquote guys like a Derek Nix, other names out there for the other co-defensive coordinator, are going to stay around for quite some time. Ken Austin makes a lot of sense as well. I think his time is here now to receive a promotion like that. We need a quarterback coach. All this makes sense. Are these splash hires or promotions? Probably not on the grand scheme of things. ESPN posted about Derek Nix coming to Auburn, so that obviously tells you something right there that may be a little bit more of a splash. But to me, checks a lot of boxes, makes a lot of sense. Is Memphis doing good? I don't know. Don't follow Memphis basketball, but I think they're ranked ahead of us right now in the rankings at this point. Yes, you didn't just hear it, it's true. So Derek Nix, Hugh Freeze, all work together. Was Will there as like a GA back then? He might have been. There is some continuity there. Kent Austin's was the OC for Hugh Freeze at Liberty. Some people would say, well, why didn't he get promoted to OC here? I think it's fair to say, you need to spend some time at the Power 5 level in a starting position, maybe now an assistant role, and then maybe work your way up to it. Very few times do you see coordinators jump up from that level to Power 5 level, unless you're Alabama football. The jokes are never going to end. Still waiting on those Bama fans that said they were going to call in tonight. And I don't think we're going to hear too many of them this evening. All right. WT says, I like the hire and promotion. Last year, the offense looked lost at times. Didn't we go 4 straight games with around 100 yards passing? I think it was under. Well, I think one time we got over by like 2 or 3 yards. So yes, around, below or around. Big Simp says Cadillac resigning was of his own fault, not Hugh Freeze, as well as Etheridge couldn't keep their hands out of the cookie jar. Well, that's something right there. What I will say about this is I continue to be frustrated with the toxicity on any situation like this where people pick sides for reasons that are not even involved in this equation. I am very sad that Cadillac's not here anymore. In fact, it makes it more real today that Derek Nix is coming in as OC, but the running backs coach. Like, it's real, folks. What not just Caddy, especially Caddy, because of he was the interim head coach, all that. He's my favorite player growing, and is my favorite. Will always be my favorite player growing up. But Zach, in terms of getting us over the hump of what has been a very, very long 2 to 3 years here, that will always mean the world to us as Auburn fans. And I hate to see them leave when things may be on the upswing. Was it their own faults or their own ambitions or whatever? You know, everybody's got their rumors and their stories. We're not necessarily going to delve into those here. What I can tell you is that from what I know about the situation, it makes a lot of sense. Don't like it. But just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it's not the right thing to do or the right thing to have happened. So take that for what you will. Some people are just going to be on a certain fence and then have those opinions. So glad for Hugh getting his staff the way he wants it to be. There is something to that, definitely. Kent has been an SEC OC before. He just didn't want to be the OC again at this point in his career. But he was an OC at the Power 5 before. Well, let's look at it and see where Kent Austin was, his track record a little bit. Kent Austin. We'll go to Wikipedia because that's always the best reliable source there. As a coach, okay, Canadian League, Ole Miss offensive coordinator from 08 to 09. Cornell head coach at Hamilton Tiger Cats. Liberty co-offensive coordinator, and now he was an analyst and quarterbacks coach. He's been moved, so they've already updated Wikipedia. So yes, he has been the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss. So there you go, another connection. I hadn't looked that far into his history yet to learn all about him, but I just know he had been a quality control guy for us now. Roll Tide Willie needs to call in. Lord, I don't know that I would have to. I don't have a bleep out function here. And I don't know that y'all want to be subjected to that, to be honest with you. It'd be pretty bad. Pretty bad. I have heard of him and it's entertaining, but I think I want him to stay far, far away as I possibly can. If we can get Ryan Williams, I'm going to say it won't matter who we have as quarterback as long as they can get them the ball. I'm going to say that now without Ryan Williams. I'm trying to be as encouraging as I can to my fellow Auburn fans to not focus so much attention on Ryan Williams. I get that the media groups have really hyped you up about this guy, 5-star plus, and he reclassified and all that. So there's a great story around him. But for every story of a 5-star working out, there's a story of them not. So to me, I think the hype is a little overblown. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And I want him to come here if he wants to be here. But I am more focused on Perry Thompson, Bryce Kane, Malcolm Simmons, Cam Coleman. The ones we have are enough. I promise you that. Let's see here. Caddy will always be known as the running back at Auburn alongside Bo Jackson. I think Nix will do just as good as Caddy did. I think there's something to be said for having gone to your university and knowing how to sell it. And that's something that can never be replicated unless you're another Auburn person. He won't be able to replace that, but he's a good recruiter in his own right and has a long history of coaching running backs. He was a running back himself. So it makes a lot of sense to replace Caddy and then the OC situation with him too. I hope both of our, I hope Derek has success here, obviously, but I hope Caddy finds success in whatever he's going to do next. Let's see here. I think we have the best wide receiver in the nation. If we get Ryan Williams, best ever, that will be the best ever put together. What do you think? I've been asked this a lot about the whole Ryan Williams thing. Again, let's stop obsessing about him so much, but I'll take the question. We right now have an argument that this may be the best wide receiver class ever for Auburn. Like, I'm not going to worry about if it's the best ever in like all the classes of everybody from time gone by. But if you get Ryan Williams, you've got to at least say, you're going to have to present me with a case that this is not the best of all time for Auburn. I still think if we really went back there and look not at the stars that they come in with, because that's what's overblown. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. We all focus too much on the stars they come in with, but what stars they leave with. I would argue that the better group, class, and again, I forget how they lined up in terms of years they came in, but that group of Ben Obumanu, Devin Aromashadu, Anthony Mix, Courtney Taylor, that's a strong group right there. So just consider that when we're talking about that. Tim on Facebook says we need linemen. And we are picking up some good folks, and we've been picking up some good folks lately. We always need linemen. We've gotten a few D-liners, and hopefully we can find we got Percy Lewis, but you always got to replenish the cupboard in those situations. All right, let's take another call that we have coming in right now, and then we will get back to comments and questions. You guys can post them in while we're talking to them. If you got any comments or questions that you want to direct to our caller, you can do so as well. Another familiar face here, Mr. Thomas Manville. Look at that man cave backdrop. What is going on, sir?
I did a little redecorating in the sunroom this week.
I see that, sir. You have just, man, I'm kind of jealous of that get up back there.
It ain't bad, man. I got my fan cave sign. I got my undefeated 2000, if I can lean the right way, undefeated 2004 season, and the Gus Malzahn autographed football I got for Christmas a couple years ago.
Oh, you better be careful. I might have to roll back through Leeds and come steal that from you.
As long as you ain't got to go to Buggy's, brother, you welcome.
I got you can't see it on the screen, but I got a Gus and who is it? I think it's Cameron Artis Payne that signed with him up there, but that's the only Gus one I have. What is that Vet Med up top that I see above you?
Yeah, I got that for my first basketball game in Neville Arena.
Okay. I was trying to read what that was up there. Well, you got a little bit of everything on that little backdrop, don't you?
I got more, but I can't fit it all in the shot, man.
Is that not the problem, though? Is that not like, look, I want to show y'all. I'm going to pull the wide shot out again real quick. I'll come back. Obviously, y'all see all of this, but there's more to it than that. And the problem is that I have way too much stuff, just like Thomas said. And I think that's the problem as Auburn fans. We got things. Are you a hoarder like I am? Like you can't let go of things?
I'm going to call it a collector.
Yes. Thank you. That's the correct terminology. Anybody wants to call me a hoarder, you can kiss it. Smile and have a Coke.
I got too much Auburn stuff, and I think right now my total tally is I think I have 16 guitars and basses and drum kit. I got too much.
So you got like a music man cave too, probably.
Well, I've got a detached garage that is the music room. So
Gotcha. Got to have a room for each one of the passions. I have to combine all of mine into one room. There's the other wall over there. So I'm like smashed in here. There's a new table that y'all can't see right here that I'm trying out. Hasn't worked out yet. So like I continue to run out of room in this room. If y'all saw like the tiny space that I can move around in, it'd be crazy. Anyway, you didn't call in to talk about that tonight. What's on your mind?
Man, War Eagle, everybody. We got a OC today. We got a QB coach. You mentioned it earlier. I'm a sports nerd, so Ken Austin was the head coach for my Hamilton Tiger Cats. That's who I pull for in the Canadian Football League. Took them to the Grey Cup, which is their Super Bowl, 2 years in a row. He wasn't as successful as they and I wanted him to be, but he was still a good coach. And
yeah.
Got a lot of football knowledge. He played quarterback at Ole Miss in the late 90s or mid to late 90s. I mean, he's played a lot of ball. He's coached a lot of ball. I think he was kind of waiting in the wings to be brought into this position, especially after working at Liberty as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some ties to the current coaching staff. He's got a lot of football knowledge, and I think he's going to be great as a QB coach.
Well, this may not be a relevant question, but now I'm curious since I just found out that you're a Canada football fan. What about the game in the Canadian Football League is different that he might be able to bring to the table here at Auburn? Does that make sense what I'm asking? Like, is there any big difference and experience level that he has playing that type of football versus American football that he might be able to bring to this team?
I think he played in the CFL as well as coached in the CFL. The field size is different. You only get 3 downs. There's a lot of rule differences. The end zone is different. I think he brings a vision, just a football vision, not a NFL versus CFL versus college or even high school, American to Canadian. I think he's just played a lot of football and he's been around a lot of football.
Okay. So just the sheer experience of what he has seen and what he's done. And here's a good way, maybe now that I'm thinking about it too. We always talk about like building programs that can get you to the next level as an athlete, right? And of course, we think about the NFL. There's more opportunities opening up with the, if it continues to survive the XFL or I guess it's the UFL now with the merger. But even there's opportunities outside of that, like to the Canadian Football League. Somebody who's connected there can be another route for you to continue to play football at the next level, even if it's not in the NFL in the United States. So that's a I don't know if I'm reaching there, but to me, that's a good asset to have on your staff.
Yeah, it is. And to your point, Nick Marshall plays defensive back for, I believe it's Saskatchewan.
Yes, that does sound familiar.
If I'm pronouncing it right.
Saskatchewan sounds right. Sometimes you just say it and go with it, and if nobody will question you if you sound confident enough.
Right, hopefully.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know if there was any big differences there other than the size and stuff like that, but an experience level that he's bringing in, I think will be very much needed. And familiarity. I think that's the theme of this coaching staff is quote unquote Hughes guys. And, there's not a lot of people that you look on that staff and go, wow, Hugh got that guy. Maybe Derek Nix is a little bit of a splash, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. I mean, ESPN, like I said earlier, gave me like a notification about it. So that kind of tells you if they think it's a big deal, somebody else must think it's a big deal too.
Right. You're right. You're right. And I'm really excited about Derek Nix coming on staff. I mean, he's been established in college football coaching staffs and coaching, recruiting, seeing how things work for a good long time. He spent 16 years at Ole Miss. I mean, and Lame, L-A-M-E. Lane Kiffin took a couple shots today, but we're not surprised by that. He's a goofball. No. He knows he's a goofball. We know he's a goofball, and it don't bother him, and it don't bother me neither. But it's a great hire. I don't think he wanted Derek Nix to leave as that wide receivers coach, but he's taken a massive step forward. He's the running backs coach and the OC. I mean, that contract clause about not being able to, you don't get your buyout unless you're calling plays, but Hugh Freeze says he's calling plays. I don't care. I really don't. You're bringing in a guy that knows what he's doing. He's been there before. He's been around college football for a good long time. It's a good hire to me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hire that looks better and better as time goes on. And, you kind of want to start building a tree, so to speak, of coaches like Saban has that can spread out and become your, as I love to call them for Saban, his acolytes, but we'll use a better term for us when we start sending the coaches out there. We did have a question from Brian, Kyle, and Thomas. What do y'all think about Aubie winning the 11th national championship? I've gotten to talk about this a lot, but any thoughts for you, sir?
Who else was going to win it?
I mean, right. He's the best tiger in the land. He could, like, if it's a tiger competition, it's a mascot competition, it doesn't matter. He'd win them both, right?
He's the only tiger mascot that doesn't look like a crackhead or he's soaking with just need some food and somewhere to live.
You just look at some of those other mascots and you go,
Clemson.
You just went like, that's what you went with? This. Like, you've had opportunities to change this, but you think this is what we're going to throw out there every single time.
Yeah, Missouri, he looks like a Beanie Baby. Clemson looks like a crackhead. LSU, we know he just smells like a dang corn dog. It's just awful.
Look, so LSU, Mike the Tiger doesn't look terrible, but he smells, so that just ruins it right there. So, it's fine. He's fine. It's okay. You know, he's a rival and all that kind of stuff. But the other ones, whew, they leave a lot to be desired. Well, we got some other callers lining up, but as always, sir, you are too generous, too kind, and we always appreciate your perspectives.
All right. Hey, last point.
Yes, go ahead.
We're worried about finding a defensive coordinator. We just hired Charles Kelly to be a co-defensive coordinator. It's a little bit for somebody to step in and be the other side of a co-defensive coordinator. So don't sweat too much. Yep. We already have a great recruiter and a guy that's agreed to be the co-DC. Yep. Let it play out. Don't freak out. Don't do anything crazy.
Yep. Patience is a virtue, and sometimes it pays off if we'll let it. But, you know, that's hard for Auburn fans. I love it. Look at it. He's got the shirt, folks. There you go. Appreciate you showing off the merch there. But always appreciate you, sir, and always love getting to talk to you.
War Eagle, y'all have a good night.
War Eagle. All right, we're going to get our next caller here in just a second. You guys line up if you want to. We'll get you in as soon as we can. I wanted to make sure we don't have any other comments that we missed before we do that. I think we talked on most of these points already. So we'll keep moving forward and take our next caller. We have a very familiar face we've seen of lately. He's got one of the best titles on YouTube that I can find out there. Mr. Obi-Wan Kenobi, a.k.a. Gregorio. What's going on, sir?
Hey, War Eagle, Kyle.
War Eagle, thanks for calling tonight.
Yeah, so I just seen the news that we ended up getting Kite in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I haven't heard you talk about that.
We talked about it at the beginning of the stream, and, you know, I was trying to save a little bit of energy for that, for these Bama fans that claimed, talked some big game that they were going to call in tonight, but haven't heard or seen a whiff of any one of them. It's awfully quiet coming out of T-Town these days, and I'm wondering if they might have gotten a little shut up juice over the last several days.
I think they've gotten shut up gallons the last several days. I'm gonna be honest. Pretty sure I've seen a few of them at my local Walmart getting extra Kleenex because they might need it, all the tears they've been shedding.
Oh, roll, tears, roll, baby. I'll just tell you, my wife hears me coming out of the office, and she just hears me like just cackling like that. And she's like, what happened now? And I was like, oh, it just keeps getting juicier and juicier. So obviously the news, a few hours before we went live here, Antonio Kite decided he wants to be on the right side of the rivalry and be an Auburn Tiger. Obviously a position of need, and something that we're really excited to see happen, because it's not often that you see one switch from one side or the other. So position of need, a place that we lost some experience going to the NFL draft, connections with Charles Kelly, all those things helped. Looks to make a lot of sense for both parties here, even if it forces him to face some ridicule come November next year.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, I love college football, but I'm a little drained out on it. So I was calling in to actually talk about basketball.
Let's talk some basketball, baby. I love talking basketball. What you got?
Well, I just want to know, how do you feel about the game? I know sometimes we struggle in Nashville, but man, this team, I think, and I know you know, if we can hit free throws tonight, that's the game right there.
Yep. So two things you said there, and I don't know if you were here earlier when we were discussing this. I think the overall record is like 90-something to 50-something Vanderbilt, and that's playing at multiple different facilities, but they clearly have a favorite. They're the favorite in the series. Now, even though that's the historic nature of this matchup, of late, Auburn's been doing decently against them, even if it's, you know, not last year, obviously, but has been getting the better of them. But, you know, a few years ago, that wasn't the case. It was really difficult to get a victory, especially in Nashville, because of that awful arena. But they are apparently very prone to giving up fouls. We have been doing a lot better on our free throws. So if that dynamic plays out how we hope, that could be the game right there. And the way that we're playing right now, the way that we seem to be, I won't say peaking, but continuing to rise to a peak. Where that peak ends, I don't know. You got to feel like even whatever odds come against Auburn in this, they're still the favorite in this matchup.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think if they give up a lot of fouls, if it was me in this game, just get it to the big men. Even Dylan, you know, he
yep.
The way he's been shooting free throws, and I mean, he may be the best center in the league off the bench, in my opinion.
Oh, I would make that argument for all of our guys coming off the bench. I would argue that our bench across the board is the best. And, there continues to be that debate. Should Chad Baker-Mazara be starting or not? I continue to say, listen, bring him off the bench, because why mess with something? Don't break it if it's not broken. Keep it going the way it is. He's getting his minutes. He's getting his points. He's getting his stats. Same thing for KD. Same thing for Dylan. Same thing for Lior. All these guys are contributing when they come into the game. And you're seeing varying degrees of who gets to play and how much and in what situations. But that's the great thing about how deep this team is. They all come in and none of them are a liability. They have different skill sets. But Bruce has often said that the bench is way better defensively. And frankly, that's what I want coming off the bench, is when they think they're getting a break, here come the Wolves, essentially. They're coming out to get you. KD, Chad, all of them.
Yeah, and you could say, like, people have a problem with Chris Moore starting over CBM, but I guess you can't say he's the best kept secret now, because everybody knows about him.
Yeah.
But when Chris is starting and he's on, and and CBM's getting more minutes a game than he is anyways, it doesn't really matter. Like you said, just keep it how it's going.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it really, what people, I think, it's kind of like stars in recruiting. We focus on the big shiny thing, who's starting, who's got the most stars. With starting in basketball, it really doesn't matter, because if they're getting the minutes they need, that's really all that matters. Are they contributing in the role that they find themselves in? An NBA scout, if they're worth their salt, is not going to look at, did the guy start? Well, no, but does that, dismiss them from being considered as a player for the next level? No, it doesn't. You have to look at context. Why weren't they starting? Was it better for the team dynamic overall? So, hopefully this guy is not going to continue. I shouldn't say that. I want him to continue to rise, but I would hope that we could keep him around for another year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it would be nice, considering that it's looking like after this season we're going to lose Janai.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen's going to be gone. Dylan's going to be gone.
Yep.
And as of right now, I could see all three of them getting drafted.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jalen has done more help this season for himself than anybody else. Just doing what we knew he was capable of, and kind of asserting himself. I think that's the biggest knock on him, is he needed to assert himself more. And you're seeing that finally, and doing it when Janai, our best player, has had some fairly quiet games too. But isn't it nice when your best player doesn't have his best game, and it really doesn't matter because everybody else is showing up?
Yeah, and it's also nice knowing that if the best player isn't having a great game, you've got about 5 or 6 other ones that are going to score 15 points or higher.
Yep.
Each
Every
game.
night. Every night it's somebody else. Of course, you'll have those mainstays there that are going to get in the double digits more often than not. Janai is usually going to get there, even if it's a low double digit. But, it's one night it's Chad. The other night it's KD. The other night it's Jalen. Or lately it's been Jalen pretty consistently too. Then Aiden Holloway shows off his phenom skills. So doesn't matter. It's death by 1,000 cuts, however you slice it when you're an Auburn opponent. So I guess to kind of round out our call, how do you feel about the game? How do you think it's going to go down tonight?
I think that the first half is going to be very chippy. It could be, Auburn could be up by, 2 to 6 points. But in the second half, I think depth's really going to show, and we're going to run away with it as long as we can make the free throws. If we make free throws, we win the game.
Free throws, turnovers, and rebounds, especially in away games, are the 3 most important stats in my mind. I know that not everybody will agree with that, but those usually tell the tape of the game. Even if you don't win out in those categories, that margin that you have in those areas will tell the tale of the game. So hopefully when we're talking about this in the post-game stream, we'll be having some happy tones and some good stat lines to discuss there.
Yep.
Good to talk to you tonight. Thanks for calling in. Always a good pleasure to discuss things with you.
Yeah, also, I want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
I think if Jalen Williams comes out like he has lately,
and
he's 2 for 2, 3 for 3, he needs to shoot 15 to 20 shots a game. I mean, just keep giving him the ball. He can't miss right now.
Let Jalen Williams do Jalen Williams things. Feed the man. What do they say? The kids say these days, let him cook. Let Jalen cook.
Let him cook.
Good to talk to you, my friend. Thanks for being here.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. All right, folks, we've got a few minutes left here in the stream. If you have not had an opportunity to call in, again, the only way you can access that is through Instagram. We're broadcasting on Instagram, giving it a shot tonight, is through YouTube. So you'll have to come there to click the link, all that stuff. I will leave it open for another 5 to 10 minutes. We'll probably probably 5 to 7 minutes. We'll probably try to get out of here 5 minutes early, around the 8:55 mark, unless we're just in the middle of a good discussion, so we can get back or get you all to the basketball game, which I know that you all are highly, highly focused on. Odd next 6 to 7 games. Chris points out on Facebook, and I've seen this too, and I thought the same thing. 2 against Ole Miss, 2 against Vandy, and Bama twice. It's very intriguing, isn't it, that we're doing this the way that we're doing it. You might say that maybe will lull us into a little bit of a sleep. I'm kind of glad we're getting them all out of the way, so we don't have to have a repeat situation if one of them ends badly. Later on down the line, we're kind of having an opportunity to correct it or assert ourselves again on them. But all signs point to the end of that year when you get your Kentuckys, your Tennessees, and everybody else down the line. Rebounds. Did we not mention that, Tim? I thought I said it. Turnovers, free throws, rebounds. Those are my 3 most important stats every basketball game. When we do post-game streams, that is what you'll hear me talk about and harp on ad nauseum. I could see Katie and Dylan using their COVID year to come back like Jalen did. Well, that'd be nice. Has Katie only been here 4 years? I feel like he's already used a 5th year. Dylan maybe, but I get the sense that Dylan knows his time in basketball is limited and is setting himself up for, in many ways, a much more, what's the word I want to use? Broad and entrepreneurial future. He is too charismatic of a guy. He has definitely become very entrenched in the Auburn culture. And if I'm Auburn University, I find a way to hire that man once he's done playing basketball, whenever that is, in some capacity. I'm just saying. Katie, he needs to find somewhere to be a psycho. I hope he can always come back to Auburn, but sometimes the energy you got to say, once you're done with basketball, go utilize it wherever else you can. Ole Miss is a very tricky game. Historically, it is Kermit Davis still there? No, he's not, right? Oh, because they got Chris Beard now. I'm interested that they got rid of Kermit Davis. Chris Beard being that night there again could make them a little bit more deadly down the line. Katie, 1 year at GA and 2 so far at AU. Are you sure about that? I thought this is his 3rd year. I am pretty sure this is his 3rd year. Let's look it up. That's the way to do it. KD Johnson. I believe this is his 3rd year at Auburn. Let us do the Googles. All right. So yes, he has played. This is his 3rd year at Auburn. So he will have played 4 years, just to give you some clarification on that. 1 year at UGA and now playing in his 3rd. So that would be your 4 years of eligibility, which means he probably would still have a COVID year left to play. Now, does he use that? Maybe. Depends on what opportunities lie ahead for him and what spaces are available here. Sometimes players want to go somewhere else and try something. Rise Life, how long is the stream lasting? We normally go an hour on our Wednesday night shows, sometimes a little over, but tonight we're not. The basketball game will be starting here in about 10 minutes. 9 minutes. So probably wrap up here in the next 5 minutes or so. In fact, good segue. You guys continue to post some questions and comments. We'll get them in rapid fire here at the end. But let me give you a reminder of what to anticipate for the rest of the week. Again, as I've mentioned, this evening, we're not done. Tons and tons and tons of content today and this week. You don't want to miss out on this evening. Whenever the game ends, about 5 minutes after that, we should go live. I've set it for about 11:15 at this point, because who knows when the game will be over. That's Eastern time, by the way. But join us for our post-game live stream with Vanderbilt. And if you can't make that one, watch the replay. But you could join us on Saturday for the Ole Miss one, which will be a ranked matchup That one will be a live stream on Saturday after the game. And then Sunday evening, we have got the Auburn Experience podcast live recording, 9 Eastern time, episode 63. We had a great time last week and a great crowd. I hope you all will join us again this week. So don't miss out on your opportunity for live streams this week. You can find us on TikTok most days for lunchtime chats, similar to what we're doing here, but not as involved. Very quick. Usually I'm a little more snappy in those ones for some reason, a little more edgy, but there you go. Can we get a weather check? 24 degrees here. I believe we are down into the 20s now with it feels like in the low 20s, maybe almost to the teens. I think we're getting down to, was it 17 tonight where I am? So not as bad as last night, but definitely still pretty raw. Predictions on how many points we win by tonight at Vandy Sandbox of Arena. I say 12. No, 9. I'm going to say 9. We win by 9 points. In North Alabama, it's 25. Yeah. And folks, I hope y'all realize there's another cold snap coming. Well, and for me, in my part of the world, Friday evening and Saturday evening. So we ain't, as Trevon Reed would say, we ain't done yet. Or is it tomorrow night it comes? I think it's the night after. I think it's Friday night and Saturday night. 10 degrees this morning, 26 now. Still, woo! Freeze warning, folks. Freeze warning. Someone took it. You said it literally as I got it out of my mouth. I think Vandy might keep it closer than usual, expecting them to hit their shots. So this is not just this season, but what has become the norm is Auburn's a big game for folks now. They want to beat Auburn. You know, we were at the Super Bowl of Arkansas a couple of seasons ago. So people want to beat Auburn. They get up for it. The fans get excited for it. The players get for it. But there's a difference between just getting excited for it and performing. We'll see if it happens. I am ready. It says I'm ready for summer too, but I also want a little bit of snow because I haven't gotten any in like 4 years. Legitimate snow. Anyway, that's not an Auburn take. That's just a Kyle Preferences take there. All right, folks, this has been another great live stream. I hope to see some of your fine faces on the live stream after the basketball game. Y'all go enjoy it, pull them through for a victory. Hopefully you and I will be talking about a fun win streak that continues at the end of this thing. But if not, we'll always find reasons to take joy in being part of the Auburn family. Until I talk to you guys again, thank you for being here. Y'all enjoy the basketball game, and we'll see you real soon.